Hello, Stickasaurus here, and we are going to start painting this helmet. You followed the other tutorials, you got here, you're ready to go, you're getting excited, but we need to remember to take our time. I cut out the visor on this. Usually most prints, models you get will have the visor cut out already. This is a kind of a fringe case. I didn't really show that. It doesn't really matter or pertain to this. When we get to the visor, I'll probably use a different helmet to show you how to do that, but for this, I'm still going to carry on with this using the paint and also show you how to attach a visor when you just cut out a rim like that. But it's time to paint. We wet sanded this. I just wiped it off with a tack cloth before paint. Very important so you don't have any dust or anything on it. And then we are going to use, I usually been doing a coat that's just flat black. It doesn't matter. You don't want to use gloss paints if you do not have to. But this is mainly to get a cohesive color, and also I'm going to show you as well, we're going to mask off the detail lines. I also do, sometimes I use pinstripe or cut vinyl to do the detail lines, but I've been trying to make sure we paint them more. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to paint this with a coat of flat black. I'll show you how I adhere the vinyl and then put another coat of black on it, and then we'll carry on to our colors. But first, we got to get that flat black on there. Also, this will take care of like the areas like the eyes and stuff that are always black. Sometimes the nostrils, we might have to go in and do them. They're a little small on this one, but it's planned. Just do 1 or 2 coats with this. When you're painting, don't do continuous sprays. What you want to do is about 8 to 10 inches away. Always test your paint after you shake it. Make sure it's warm. You don't want any of the accelerant to just like spray all over your helmet. It makes a mess. So once you got your paint flowing, what you want to do is up and down, start not on the helmet, and then do slightly overlapping strokes. Usually 2 coats. It depends on your coverage. Wait at least 10 minutes between coats. Trust me, don't rush it. Just do it. Especially, I'm in the garage and it's winter and it's getting colder, so maybe a little bit longer, even 15. With flat black, it's not a big deal, but if you're using a gloss paint, absolutely. So this is what we're going to do. See, we're starting above and below the helmet, up and down, slightly overlapping. Just work your way around. Don't worry about the nooks and crannies, we'll get them in the back. Somehow good hair or something there. Another hair. Sometimes it happens. Just overlapping. And then you want to make sure you get your backside edges. So like where the helmets will go together. Get that edge. And its back part. This is a weird 3/4 cut helmet. Make sure we get that. Same with the back. Slightly overlapping. Back, so usually work one side, do the edge, the other side, and then you do 1 or 2 down the middle. And there you go. We'll let this dry, and then we'll do another coat in about 10-15 minutes. Right, it's been about 10-15 minutes here. You'll do another coat, same thing, I'll show you. Again, 6 foot away, make sure your paint's flowing. And same thing, just slightly overlapping. Starting above and below the helmet, not on it. The same to the back. Let this dry, and then we will start masking the detail lines. And I'll show you that, because that's part of the painting. And also show you what I do to mask off the colors and all that as well. Right, so all this is masked with 1/32 of an inch vinyl that I cut on my Cameo, my vinyl cutter machine. So we just mask the detail lines. I'm going to hit another coat of black to hopefully seal these down before we move on to the next color paint. So that's all we're doing, is just hitting another coat of black just to seal these lines, and then I will show you when we move on to the next color. Alright, so it's time to mask. We're going to mask off the white we just sprayed on. and leave the teeth, because we'll do another coat of white over this to seal down the tape, and I'll show you how we put that on here, and then we'll do the silver over that. But to do the tape, I use two types of tapes. I use this Tamiya 6mm is what I use the most. You can get different size Tamiya, but this is the best for doing the edges. And then for like the bigger parts and touching the edges, I'd use this automotive 3M tape. Everything is down in the description in my Amazon affiliate link if you're looking for it. So this particular helmet, the teeth are kind of a pain, but all I do is take the tape, and we want to get close to the edge with this tape. And this stuff you can push down. It won't leave marks or anything, and it shouldn't lift up anything unless something's not cured right. But that's pretty simple. And you'll do that, all your edges here. You'll have to cut it to get up into like these triangles. So just like that. Then we'll take this tape, and what you want to do is just go over this tape. So we see this. This is where we want to push. We don't really want to push this over on the painted parts. Just want to go up against the lines. And then we'll cut this, everything. And you fill it in the same way. You kind of just want to push down against the tape that's already down there and not on the painted part. At least that works for me. But we'll do all this teeth, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So there we go. Took a little bit to get there. But again, we just use the fine tape around the edges and fill in with the automotive tape. I'm going to hit this with another coat of white to try to seal this down, so when we do the paints on top of it, it doesn't bleed under. So that's the plan. Doesn't always work. And probably have to do touch-ups. Touch-ups are name of the game. Okay, so I showed you how to use this masking tape and the fine line tape to fill areas, but what do you do when you got big areas? Well, here's what I use usually. It is just, this is automotive masking paper, and you can get a device that will put tape on it while you pull it. That's what I use. But you can pick this up at any automotive like body store. They have this. You can put your tape on it yourself if you don't want to get a little contraption. They're really handy though. This is awesome. Some people use plastic bags. I have a weird thing with plastic bags, so I don't use that. But all I do is get variable length. It depends. It doesn't really matter. And when you do this, you want to make sure you're just putting the tape on to the tape you already put down. This fine line, this Tamiya 6mm. It's super simple. Just do that and then push it down. And you don't want to put it on the actual, push down on the actual paint if you don't have to. Then just tuck it under. And you have to use a couple pieces. There's no way really around that. And then, so I'll put another piece over here. And then we'll do the same on the other side and tuck it all under it. And you should just have this, and this will protect anything from getting paint on you don't want. So that's what I do for big areas. It works super well. Again, I have a thing with plastic bags. I know some people use them. Sometimes you get ones with holes in it. It's a whole thing. I've done it before in a pinch, but I prefer this. It's cleaner usually. A little more professional if you're into that, but yeah, pretty simple. So there we go. That's how I mask big areas, so you don't have to worry about it. This should be perfectly fine, especially just for something simple like the silver. Might not look the prettiest, but it's very effective. So you finally get all your paint, you get all your masking off, and now it's time for touch-ups. So this is kind of confusing because this is going to get covered by the visor, but as you can see, some of these lines just aren't the best that we masked. So we'll have to clean this up, get some green and everything. I use paint markers usually to fill in some of these lines, some of these spots up here, but we'll get them all cleaned up. Touch-ups are super normal. No one's masking anything super crispy on the first try. Like, okay, we got a little bit of white. Just fill it in. It shouldn't be a problem. I just use paint markers usually. Black acrylic and these black silvers there. My Amazon affiliate link down in the description. This matches the testers pretty well for the mouth and teeth and stuff, so that's what I use. Just a little bit, you can't use a lot. We're just gonna go over it and get it looking crispy. Alright, so after all your touch-ups are done, it's time to clear. I use, almost exclusively anymore, Duplicolor 1K Clear Extreme Gloss. You can get it at AutoZone, it's where I get it. It is on Amazon, but it's usually more expensive. It's like $20 can. It's great. So I do 3 coats. I do one where it's just all over, just a tack coat. Wait 10 minutes, then do quick strokes. Do a coat of that, wait 10 minutes, and then we do like a steady, heavy coat for the last one. I will kind of do this in real time so you can see what I'm doing. Just don't rush it and take your time, because if you ruin it here, it is devastating. Just, it's gonna look bad at first, but trust the process. All right, now it's time for the second coat. Again, we're just going to do quick, long passes. Always stop and start before and after the helmet, if that makes sense. You don't want to start directly on the helmet. Sometimes you'll get some accelerant that comes out and that'll make wrinkles. I always spray a little just to make sure we got it started, and here we go, ready? And you'll be able to see when you're doing it, like where your lines are, like your paint passes, and then you just slide around, keep going. Now the only thing about this 1K Clear, if you get it heavy on like really white areas, don't do what I'm doing. I missed the spot, that's fine. It has a tendency to turn it yellow, I'm gonna be honest. So when I do both sides, then I just do the same thing right in the middle. And that usually helps me get the chin in the front, because that's the most important part. And same on the back. And now it's time for the final coat. Again, same concept of just doing the slightly overlapping strokes, but a little thicker, a little more time. I don't know how to explain it, but you'll see. Just slower, I guess. Like you want to coat on here. Since we did the other coats, had a lot of space in between, you shouldn't get any runs if you do this right. If you feel like you missed a spot, be very careful if you want to attempt to go back over it. Again, so then we did all the sides, and then same thing up and down in the middle. maybe shoot under like any overhangs or anything. And that should be good. It looks pretty good. And same with the back. Just slower, slightly overlapping strokes. And you'll be able to see your lines when you're going over. So that's it. I'm gonna let this dry. This stuff usually cures pretty good in 24 hours. So we'll do that, but that's the end of painting. I will show you this visor. Maybe it is a formed visor that we're gonna glue on top. So I'll show you how I glue it on top, and then I'll find another helmet. We'll do a traditional behind the recessed visor. But that's pretty much it for paint. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will try to help you.